प्रेम रसे महात्मा नित्यानंद राया ओंकार गर्जना प्रभु कराये सदाया. Lord Nityananda was greatly intoxicated in the mellows of ecstatic love. He constantly roared loudly. Matta Simha Praya Prabhu Anande Vivala Vedi Nishedera Para Vihara Sakala. Lord Nityananda was overwhelmed in ecstasy like an intoxicated lion. His pastimes are transcendental to all rules and regulations. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, a verse has been quoted here from 11 to 40. Evam vrita swapriya nama kirtya jatanurago dhruta chitta uchai hasati ato rodati rauti gayati unmadavan nrityati lokabhayai. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, ज्ञाननिष्ठो विकर्तो वा मद्भक्तो वानपेक्षकः सलिङ्गान् अस्रामस्त्यक्त्वा चरेद् अविद्धिगोचरः बुद्धो बालकावत् क्रीडेत् कुशलो जडवाच्चरेत् वादेद् उन्मातवद् विद्वान् गोचर्यं नैगमाश्चरेत्. Giving up the rituals and external regulations pertaining to one's particular status of life, one should act on the transcendental platform beyond rules and regulations. Although most wise, the Paramahamsa enjoys life like a child, oblivious to honor and dishonor. Although most expert, he behaves like a dull, incompetent person. Although most learned, he speaks like an insane person. And although a scholar, learned in Vedic regulation, he behaves in an unrestricted manner. So, what is being stated here is that while we all have certain materialistic duties, one has to be situated on the transcendental. One should act on the transcendental platform, that one should realize at many times in the day that at least realize the self realization that I am getting this opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. Should I waste my time serving, being a Maya Das or being a Krishna Das? So even when we are doing materialistic duties, sometimes we are forced to do, but rest of the time, if whatever chores we are doing, if we can think that this whatever I'm doing is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, whether I'm keeping the house clean, whether I'm keeping the kitchen clean, because Srila Prabhupada said kitchen is the extension of your altar. So he maintained utmost cleanliness in the kitchen. Srila Prabhupada used to cook by himself. Even at the age of 69, he carried his vessels when he went to US, and he stated he has kept a very good example of how clean his kitchen was, how the offerings were made, and with his own hand at that old age, he used to make so many items as a feast for all the devotees who used to come to the center in New York. So we can learn from that that we know cleanliness is next to godliness, and Srila Prabhupada said cleanliness is godliness. So there are many things. So when we can think that, so those chores are ultimately whether we keep the kitchen clean, with the altar clean, where we keep the Lord, that room clean. We know that we are living in the Lord's a home, abode of Lord. It is not, my abode. Somebody right in front of their house, some person's name is say Darshan. He will say Darshan's abode. No, it is not Darshan's abode, because that Darshan, that name is given to the body, and we have a expiry date. Each of us has an expiry date. The body has an expiry date, although the soul is eternal. So you can think that we all come with an expiry date here. So one has to realize that whatever act one does, and if we can dedicate more time for his actions, whether it is cooking, cleaning, buying vegetables, fruits, grocery, for keeping the Lord's house, making the Lord's bhoga. In this way, he is able to spiritualize. Even he is going for his morning walk or a japa walk. You can think that he is maintaining his body so that he can serve the Lord nicely. Srila Prabhupada also said to maintain one's body, because you are keeping the Lord is present in everybody's body. So the Supreme Lord is residing in our body. So we have to also keep our temporary body, the temporary temple in which the Lord is residing in our body, very fit and clean. So these things are important. So we can remember how these acts can be spiritualized. Even your japa walk can be spiritualized. You can observe the nature and think that how Krishna has created these things. So here they are talking about Paramahamsa who enjoys life like a child. So anyone remembers of a Paramahamsa in Srimad Bhagavatam who was oblivious to honor and dishonor, and he behaved like a dull, incompetent person. So anyone can give an example of such a personality in Srimad Bhagavatam?
Mataji, Jada Bharata.
What did you say, Aruna Mataji? Your voice broke, huh?
Jada Bharata.
Yes, Mataji, correct. So Jada Bharata, after being Bharat Maharaj, and after being in a deer's body, and then in the deer's body, he remembered, oh, how I wasted one lifetime that I was worshipping the Supreme Lord, and he left his kingly status, his wife, his children, his queen, and then he went to the Himalayas to do meditation, and how he got attracted to a deer, and then he got a deer's body. So just see, when we have an attachment towards our end of our life, and he left the paraphernalia, he left the worship, and then he got a deer's body, and in the deer's body he lamented, or he repented that what he has done, he realized. And then when he became Jadabharata, he remembered everything, and then as a Paramahamsa, he behaved like a dull-headed person, an incompetent person, and he spoke like an insane person, although he was such a scholarly person. And when the conversation between King Rahuguna and Jadabharat happened, Rahuguna later realized that how realized Paramahamsa was Jadabharat. So one should act on the transcendental platform, which is beyond rules and regulations. So when we act on the transcendental platform, then there is no bonding by the material nature. Any other act, otherwise we perform, we start to get bound. So any act done for pleasing the Supreme Lord, that is a spiritual activity, and that because of that activity we don't get bound. क्षणके कदम्ब वृक्षे करी आरोहण भजाए मोहन वेणु त्रिभंग मोहन. Sometimes he would climb a kadamba tree and play enchanting melodies on a flute while standing in a threefold bending form. So the Supreme Lord Krishna, has this threefold bending form where there is a bend in his knees, the second one in his waist, and the third one in his neck. क्षण की देखिया घोष्टे गदगदियाया वत्स प्रायहाया गबीरा दुग्ध खाया. Sometimes he would roll in the pasturing ground, and sometimes he would drink milk from a cow like a calf. Vatsa praya. Vatsa means calf. So like a vatsa, he would like to drink milk from a cow. अपना अपनी सर्व पाथे नृत्य करे बाह्य नाही जाने डूबी आनंद सागरे. As he danced alone the entire way, he would lose external consciousness after drowning in a ocean of ecstasy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing the entire way, and he would lose his consciousness as he deeply got into the ecstatic mood. का खाना वा पाते वाशी करे न रोदन हृदय विदारे ताहे करीते श्रवण. So when we say this ocean of ecstasy, it is the sagar or the bhakti rasa amrita, the prema or the bhakti rasa amrita, which is full of rasa and amrita, which is full of rasa and amrita, is a very big ocean. The more you the pastimes of Krishna and the pastimes of devotees with Krishna or associates and so many leelas, you are getting an enormous infinite, you are actually submersing yourself into an ocean of ecstasy. So when we read these scriptures, whether Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is rasam alayam, it is an alay full of rasa, and the person who takes shelter of such alay, an alay full of bhakti rasa, is not affected by the material miseries, or Maya Devi cannot do anything to such a person. काखाना वापाते वाशी करे न रोदन हृदये विदारे ताहा karite shravana. Sometimes he would sit in the middle of the road and cry in such a way that the heart of anyone would break. Anyone who heard him would break. Kakho no hasena ati mahatha hasa. Kakho no vashire vastra bandi digavasa. Sometimes he would laugh loudly and sometimes he would take off his cloth and wrap it around his head. का खाना व स्वानुभावे अनंत आवेशे सर्व प्रायहया गंगारा स्रोते बासे. Sometimes in his own ecstatic mood as Ananta, he would float in the current of Ganga like a serpent. अनंतेरा भावे प्रभु गंगारा भीतरे बसिया नाती देखी मनोहरे. In the mood of Anantashesh, Nityananda Prabhu looked most enchanting as he continuously floated in the waters of Ganga. So Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Sankarshan and is none other than Anantashesha, and so hence he used to float on the river Ganga. अचिन्त्य आगमय नित्यानन्देर महिमात्री भुवने अद्वितीय karunyera sima. The glories of Nityananda are inconceivable and incomprehensible. His compassion is unique within the three worlds. ए माता गंगा मध्ये बसिया बसिया नवद्वीपे प्रभु गाते उठीला आसिया. While floating in the Ganges in this way, Nityananda Prabhu finally arrived at the Lord's bathing ghata in Navadvip. From the western bank of the Ganges, known as Kulia, Sri Nityananda Prabhu floated to Mahaprabhu's ghata on the eastern bank of the Ganges. Apana Sambari Nityananda Mahashaya Prathame Utila Si Prabhura Alaya. After controlling himself, Lord Nityananda went straight to the Lord's house. Asiya dekhaye ai avadasa upavasa sabe Krishna bhakti bale dehe ache swasa. When he arrived, he found that Mother Sachi had been fasting for 12 days. She was surviving simply on the strength of her devotional service to Krishna. Sri Gaurasundara passed 12 days going from Mayapur to Katwa to take sannyasa and wandering in Radha Desha. Mother Sachi abstained from taking any food or drink for those 12 days. So while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went from Mayapur to Katwa to take sannyas, Mother Sachi, when she knew this news, she was on complete fasting. She didn't take anything to eat or drink. यशोधरा भावे आई परम विवाला निर्वादी नयने वहाय prema jala. Mother Sachi was so overwhelmed in the mood of Yashoda, she constantly used to shed tears from her eyes, which were tears of her love from her eyes. यारा देखे आयता हारे वार्ता काया मथुरारा लोका की tomara sa bahaya. Mother Sachi asked whomsoever she met, are you from Mathura? Feeling intense separation from Gaura Sundara Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mother Sachi would ask everyone, are you from Mathura? Do you have any news about Krishna and Balram? She was feeling anxiety thinking about the visit of Akrura, and she would hear the sound of Krishna's flute and Balarama's horn. Kaha kaha Rama Krishna acha eke mane baliya murchita hana padila thakane. Please tell me how are Krishna and Balarama? Speaking like this, she would fall unconscious to the ground. Shane bale ai oi venu singa bhaje akrura aila kiba puna ghosta maje. Sometimes Mother Sachi would say, is that the sound of the flute and horn? Has Akrura arrived, returned to Vrindavana? In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:46-18:19, Api smrati na Krishno mataram suhrat sakin gopan brajam chatma natam gavo vrindavanam giri. Does Krishna remember us? Does he remember his mother and his friends and well-wishers? Does he remember the cowherds and their village of Braja, of which he is the master? And does he remember the cows, Vrindavana forest, and Govardhan hill? Api ayasyati Govinda swajanan sakradikshitum tari drakshayama tadvaktram sunasam susmitekshanam. Will Govinda return even once to see his family? If he ever does, we may then glance upon his beautiful face with its beautiful eyes, nose, and smile. One should also. So these verses are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 18 and 19. Sorry, chapter 46, 18 and 19 verses. Where when Krishna leaves, then people are thinking, will he ever come back to Braja, come back to see the villages of Braja and come back to Govardhana, and then we can have the beautiful darshan of Krishna. Ei matai Krishna viraha sagare dubiya chena bhaya naika sarire. In this way, Mother Sachi drowned in an ocean of separation from Krishna. She lost all her external consciousness. Nityananda Prabhu Varahena Samaya Aira asi Dandavatahaya. At that time, Nityananda Prabhu came there and fell flat at the feet of Mother Sachi. Nityanande dekhi sabha bhagavata gana uchaisware lagilena karite krandana. Having seen Nityananda Prabhu, they all began to cry loudly. बापा बापा बली आए हैला मूर्छित ना जानिए केवा पड़े कोण भीत. Mother Sachi lost consciousness as she repeatedly called out, my son, my son. No one knew who fell in which direction. Nityananda Prabhu Vara Sabha Kari Kole Sinchilena Shabara Sharira Prema Jale. Nityananda Prabhu embraced all the devotees and soaked their bodies with tears of love. शोभावाणी नित्यानंद कहे न सबरे सत्वरे चला सबे Prabhu देखी बारे. Nityananda informed everyone of the auspicious news and said, let's go quickly to see the Lord. शांतीपुरा गेला प्रभू आचार्येरा घरे आम्ही आईला ना तोमा साबालाई बारे. So Nityananda Prabhu heads to Shantipura first, where Advaita Acharya is there and says that I've come here to take all of you. Chaitanya Viraha Jirna Sarva Bhakta Gana Purna Haila Suni Nityanandera Vachana. All the devotees had been morose with the feelings of separation from Chaitanya. But when they heard Nityananda's words, they all became joyful. सबै हैलाती आनंदे विवला उठिला परमानंद कृष्ण कोलाहल. Everyone became overwhelmed with ecstasy, and an ecstatic, tumultuous vibration of Krishna's names arose. ये दिवस गेला प्रभु करीते संन्यासा सा दिवस हायते ऐरा upavasa. From the day Lord left to take sannyasa, Mother Sachi had been fasting. So we'll end here and continue from 161 tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. Any comments or questions are welcome.
Mataji, I have a question. Am I clear?
Yes, yes.
Mataji, it is not related to today's class, but in the calendar, it is written that today is Wednesday, right? Kalya Krishna Das Tirobhav. Now, we have read in Chaitanya Charitamrit, Kalya Krishna Das had fallen from the good character he possessed.
Okay.
So, then why do we celebrate his Tirobhav also?
He was a Kala Krishna Das, took birth in Rahara Desh. He was a great servant of Lord Nityananda. He was one of the best of Vaishnavas. He knew nothing other than Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. I hope you are referring to this Kalya Krishna Das, Mataji.
Mataji, that is my doubt. Whether there are two Kalya Krishna Das. That was my doubt.
Okay. So probably it is the other one because Kalya Krishna Das, यहाँ पे mention किया है Gaudiya history में that he is a servant of Nityananda Prabhu. He knew nothing other than Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, and when Janava Devi came to Katwa, Kalya Krishna Das was in her entourage.
Okay, Mataji, this must be a different Kalya Krishna Das because there is
Correct. Not
one
that
more
that Krishna
reference.
Das
Yeah.
with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, correct. Huh.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay,
Mataji, this is a different Kalya Krishna Das.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, thank you. That was my confusion, Mataji.
He's
Hare.
one of the 12 Gopas of Vrindavan, Mataji.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
he's
okay.
made Navanga. His name is Lavanga. He's one of the cowherd friends of Krishna, as per Gaudiya history. He is a associate of Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we'll end the class here.
मग सांगते मी तुला, नुसत्या तुझ्या नोकरीनी नाही होणार आहे. आधीच तुला अलर्ट करतेय.